If you've been listening for the last several nights, you know a few things by now. You know, number one, according to treaty, the United Nations is the law of the land. Not the Constitution as you've always thought, but the United Nations. And I cited the law to you. You also heard that your rights are not protected as you thought they were. There is no protection at all, in fact, for individual rights in the United Nations Charter or the resolutions that they've passed. Also, the part in the UN Charter and in the UN resolutions calling for equality of race, religion, and creed and all of that kind of stuff, guaranteeing you that you will not be discriminated against, was not automatically empowered and therefore does not apply. I also read you where the courts are now interpreting the second article in amendment to mean you have the right to keep and bear arms only if you are in a militia, and many others. I explained to you that the Department of the Treasury is not an agency of the United States government, but is in fact an international organization under the United Nations. The Secretary of the Treasury is paid by the International Monetary Fund, and the BATF, or Bureau of Alcohol, Tobaccos, and Firearms, and the Secret Service and customs agents, these international police forces, because that's what they are immune from all the laws of the United States. I also advised you that there is a multi-jurisdictional task force, if you will, called MFO in international jargon, which is made up of law enforcement and military forces of several different nations, which can go anywhere it pleases and do whatever it pleases, and is exempt from the laws of the United States of America. I've outlined to you the entire program of disarmament of the world, including the United States and its people, in the law, and I've cited the law to you so that there is no misunderstanding, and not one single one of you can claim that I made it up. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we've been a part of world government for a long time now. You just didn't know it. I'm telling you, you've been living in Disneyland. You have no conception of the real world. You keep talking as if this country still has sovereignty and exists on its own. You still keep talking about the Constitution. You see, folks, I got faxes and letters and all kinds of stuff saying that what I told you last night was erroneous, that treaties do not supersede the Constitution, that the second article and amendment guarantees the right to keep and bear arms for all Americans, regardless of whether they're in the militia or not. I wish you were right. Of course, you're right in the intent of the law and in the intent of our founding fathers, and you're right in the early court rulings on these issues. But, folks, we have to deal with reality, and what I'm telling you is reality. What I read you last night were actual court rulings. You see, they flopped everything 180 degrees. And it doesn't matter what you think, and it doesn't matter when you're in that courtroom if you stand before the judge and rail against him about how they can't do it. They've already done it. You can yell and scream all you want. You can tell the judge that he can't tell you that you can't have a rifle or a pistol because the second article and amendment guarantees you that right, and it's meant for all the people, whether they're in the militia or not. You're going to make the judge angry, and you're going to go to jail. You see, they've taken over this country. They've made right wrong and wrong right, and while I agree with you on the principles, you are wrong in the reality of the situation. We must restore the Constitution because it is not in effect, and you better get that through your thick heads. We are under United Nations international law right this moment and have been since 1945. For many years, nobody saw any results of this because they had to promote a huge brainwashing and propaganda campaign against the American people to get them to accept it. Part of that is what's known as the New Age movement. Part of that is the ozone holes. Part of it is global warming. Part of it is pollution, environmental destruction, done on purpose to create this cry for international control. Read the report from Iron Mountain. The report from Iron Mountain. The possibility and probability of permanent peace. All of these things were outlined in that book as contingency plans to bring about world government. The American people had to be brought into this slowly through a program of indoctrination, propaganda, lies, deceit, and manipulation. According to Rush Limbaugh, the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission are not involved in any attempt to destroy the sovereignty of the United States of America and bring about one world government. A blatant lie. Because if you will get the publication, which is the periodical of the Council on Foreign Relations, the name of it is Foreign Relations, for April 1974. The lead article is called Hard Road to World Order. And in that article, ladies and gentlemen, they outline the blueprint on how they intend to destroy the sovereignty of the United States of America and make world government possible. Everybody in Washington, D.C. knows what I've been telling you for the last few nights, and you've learned more in the last few nights than you will learn in your entire lifetime listening to anybody else. They all know it. Yep, even old Newt. Even old Bob Dole. That's why they lied to you. Get you feeling secure. Oh, Gat's not going to pass. Dole's against it. The Republicans won't let it pass. But it passed, didn't it? It passed because it had to pass. Because it takes us further into world government. Because that's where we're going. You didn't even know it, but Gat's been around since the late 40s. That's right, folks. It wasn't new. And there are so many thousands of pages. It establishes, in effect, a superior power to the United States which can dictate to us. And just as the United States federal government took the sovereignty away from the states and the individuals through its power granted by the Constitution over interstate commerce, so will this world government take the sovereignty from the nations and the individual citizens of the nations through international commerce under NAFTA and GATT.
Good night, folks. God bless each and every single one of you. Good night, Pooh, my darling sweetheart. Good night, Allison, you vibrant little bundle of joy. You know, this house is haunted. I can hear you girls screaming and playing all the time. Annie, you are the love of my life. You always will be the love of my life. And I miss you. I miss you all terribly, terribly much.